Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/entitled people. In today's episode, my mom asks entitled mother to let go of my hair, refused and got her life ruined. Handicapped Karen tried to get me fired after she hits me with her electric wheelchair. Why is it always the lucky people that pretend it was all just skill? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My mom asks entitled mother to let go of my hair, refused and got her life ruined. When I was a kid, I never cut my hair. No matter what, I never cut my hair, so I had very long, pretty dirty blonde hair. And as a kid, a lot of people would ask to touch it. And I was fine with it, as long as they had my permission. So when I was 6, my mom took me to a grocery store to buy some things for dinner that night. We got to the store and my mom got the stuff she needed, but was missing the bread from the other side of the store. She sent me to go get it since I was fast and small. When I got to the bread, I picked out the brand we would usually buy, and at the time I really liked baguettes and other types of breads. So when I saw the baguettes, I totally forgot that my mom was waiting for me and grabbed a loaf and headed back to my mom. So when I was heading back to my mom from the bread aisle, I felt someone pull on my hair, and not gently, no, they yanked it. They pulled so hard I thought my hair was going to come out. And I cried so hard my mom heard me across the store. It turns out it was a kid about my age who wanted to touch my hair, so his mom, and I say his 40-year-old mother, pulled my hair so her friggin' kid could touch it. My mom rushed over and told the lady to let go of me. This is basically how the conversation went. EM equals entitled mom. M equals my mom. Me equals me, duh. M, let my daughter go. EM, my child just wanted to touch her hair, she has very pretty hair. Me, she pulled on my hair, it hurts. M, you could have just asked. You can't just pull kids' hair. I can call the police for assault. EM, you are harassing me, all I did was let my son touch her hair. I can call the police on you for harassing me and my child. M, firstly, I am not harassing you, you assaulted my child. And secondly, you can call the police. You will only be making things worse for yourself. As it turns out, the entitled mom called the police and they took both our statements. The entitled mother had given an over-exaggerated and dramatic report, telling the police, as we would find out later, that I had given consent for her kid to touch my hair and my mom had come out of nowhere and started harassing the entitled mother. My mother had given the police the actual report from her side. I had been asked to give a report, but I was too scared and tired from the experience to say much. They checked the security footage and saw what actually happened. I don't remember the next part, so bear with me here. My mom decided to press charges and sued the entitled mom for assault, and she was sent to jail for 6 months and fined for providing a false police report as the cherry on top. Entitled parents always think they are right. Lucky the law sorted her out. I remember stuff like this happening when I was a kid, not yanking but touching without permission. I have red hair and adults all wanted to touch it and kids my age bullied me about. I want to tell you it gets better, but I'm a grown-ass adult now and randoms still try and touch my hair without my permission. Oh my gosh, I want to hug little you. What a horrible woman. Handicapped Karen tried to get me fired after she hits me with her electric wheelchair. When I was in college, I used to work for Walmart, initially as a courtesy clerk. The town I lived in easily exceeded 100 degrees Fahrenheit during the summer months. By state law, the store had to give us a 5-minute break inside to cool down after 2 rounds of collecting carts, and provide us with beverages so we can stay hydrated. The beverage they usually gave us was Gatorade. This is relevant to the story. After working a couple of hours, it was time for me to take my first official 15-minute break. I filled a cup with Gatorade and proceeded to make my way to the break room. There was a bit of a blind spot walking past the registers, so I stopped and looked both ways down the aisle to make sure I wouldn't accidentally bump into anyone. The closest person to me was one of our regular shoppers, an older lady, the Karen of this story, who had a myotrophic lateral sclerosis or Lou Gehrig's disease. The same condition Stephen Hawking had. Because of this she had to use an electric wheelchair, and lived at a local assisted living center. Due to her condition there were 2 rules she had to follow whenever she shopped at the store in order to prevent accidental collisions with people. She must always be accompanied by an employee from the assisted living center whenever she shopped at the store. She had to keep the wheelchair's speed to one of the lowest settings. Knowing these rules, and seeing how far down the aisle she was, I knew I could get across quick enough before she got anywhere near me. After taking a step or 2 out into the aisle, I noticed 2 things. She was not being accompanied by an employee from the assisted living center. She was driving her wheelchair much faster than she was supposed to. She was on a collision course with me, so instinctively I tried to jump back out of the way to avoid getting hit, but it was too late. She hits me while I was in the air. I fell to the ground and spilled my Gatorade all over the wheelchair. The lady loses control of the chair and starts spinning around in circles. She's flailed her arms and screamed with what limited mobility she had, and nearly hit me a second time, but I managed to roll out of the way. I knew I had to try and stop her before she hit someone else, so I grabbed a handlebar on the back of the wheelchair, hoping I could at least slow her down. This didn't work. Instead she dragged me around in circles in the middle of the aisle. Several coworkers and shoppers quickly rushed in and stopped the lady, who seemed to be okay, just startled. But when I tried to stand up 2 male shoppers held me down. One of them leaned over me and said, "You're going to be all right, sir. Everything is going to be just fine." He turned his head and yelled, "I need a first aid kit." I could hear a lady in the background scream, "Oh my God. Somebody call 911." I just laid there and wondered what the hell happened to me. Sure, I was going to have a nice bruise on my hip from when I hit the floor, but besides that I felt fine. I quickly discovered why the customers were panicking. The flavor of the Gatorade we had that day was fruit punch. Some of it splashed on my face when the lady hit me. The customers who witnessed the incident thought I busted my head open when I hit the ground. I had to assure them that it was not blood, it was just Gatorade, and that I was fine. A member of management eventually showed up to document the incident. After I gave him my statement, I was finally able to take my break. I was even given an extra 5 to 10 minutes so I could clean up and recuperate from what had just happened. This was where I thought this story would end. I was wrong. A couple of weeks later I was called back to the manager's office. The store manager, who we'll call Kate, not her real name, and several assistant managers were in there waiting for me. Kate told me to take a seat, and asked if I remembered the incident from a few weeks ago with the handicapped lady in the electric wheelchair and the Gatorade. I just chuckled and said, "How can I forget? Kate, that lady was just in my office, and she had a lawyer. She wanted to sue the store, claiming that she suffered mental distress from that incident. And as part of her lawsuit she wanted your employment with the company terminated, claiming that you were the one responsible for the collision." I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But Kate quickly put my mind at ease by saying, "Kate, don't worry, you're not in any trouble." We showed the lady and her lawyer the security footage from the incident. I reminded her of the rules she knew she had to follow whenever she shopped at the store to prevent collisions from happening, but she decided to break them anyways. And that she should consider herself lucky that she hit a store employee who only suffered a minor injury, because if she had hit another customer, and that customer suffered a serious injury, SHE would be held responsible for the collision, and would have a major lawsuit on her hands. The assisted living center would also be at fault for somehow allowing her to leave the center on her own without their notice. But if she still wanted to sue, she can try, but she will not win. Karen's lawyer knew they didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning this one, so the two of them left. Kate said that since I was the employee involved in this incident, she thought I would want to know what the handicapped Karen attempted to do, and that I would get a kick out of it. I'll admit, it does add a nice punchline to the story, but I wished I was in the manager's office to witness the Karen and her lawyer's encounter with Kate and the rest of the store's managers. Honestly, I'd have banned her ass from the store and told her never to come back. The woman is clearly a danger to others. Well, sure, but imagine the optics of banning a wheelchair-bound person from the, presumably, only walking distance grocery store to her place. Seems unfair that a customer could sue her, but she's off the hook for hitting an employee. One woman here in town that uses an electric chair will deliberately ram her chair into people as fast as she can, as hard as she can, if people don't get out of her way when people are standing in line at stores. She's been banned from multiple stores for doing this. Her excuse is that I'm in a wheelchair, I'm disabled, I should get priority, you can walk, you're discriminating against me by standing in front of me. Needless to say, she has been arrested a couple of times for this BS. We think she may have mental issues too, but not sure. She lives at one of the local assisted living homes. Those wheelchairs are no joke. I had a patient years ago at a Merrill Gardens run his at high speed, and he pinned an NAC in the elevator and fractured her leg. Management kept trying to force him to keep his wheelchair on turtle, because the dial went from slow turtle to rabbit. He had dementia and kept cranking it up, and we had several other near misses. Management could not seem to come up with a solution. I finally just super glued the dial on turtle. He never noticed. Why is it always the lucky people that pretend it was all just skill? Jeff Bezos got $600,000 from his parents, inflation adjusted, to start his business. Zuckerberg $200,000, inflation adjusted. Bill Gates' parents were wealthy and his mother had connections to the IBM board. Most entitled rich/ultra rich people get a head start/extra funds and are lucky. Yet they always pretend it's skill. I know a guy who is just 25 and makes already $100K plus a year. And he thinks it's because of hard work and his skill. LOL. All that happened was that the boss of the company really liked him because he reminded him of his dead son. As a result, he got everything handed to him for free with almost zero work and effort. He somehow was promoted to chief engineer of the company at 21 before even finishing his bachelor degree. Now he thinks he deserves everything and that it only came to him because of his smart and hard work. The entitlement is so strong that one could puke. We often attribute successes to internal factors such as talent and hard work. Failures get attributed to external factors such as bad luck and other people. Unless you're poor, then it flips. Success is luck or fraud. Failure is due to moral shortcomings. Because if we admitted how much luck went into striking it rich, the myth of capitalism fades away. It's a lot harder to convince someone to pull up their bootstraps when they know how little their hard work is actually going to pay off. That's because it's the people that fall for it that do the work for the rich people that try to push that narrative. So, the thing is, it actually does take hard work to reach those levels, right? There are tons of people with those same advantages and opportunities who don't take advantage of them and capitalize on them. Saying someone like Jeff Bezos or Zuckerberg worked hard isn't wrong. The problem, though, is when people want to attribute the entirety of their success to them working hard. If that were the case, I know people flipping burgers who should be millionaires. You need to be lucky, you need to have opportunities, and you need to be smart and capitalize on your luck and opportunities. The American dream is this concept that anyone can succeed, and it's true, anyone can, just like anyone can win the lottery. But the much more reliable indicator for success isn't working hard. Lots of people work hard. The most reliable indicator is the financial situation you're born into, which then affords you the luxury of moving up when you work hard. It's a lot easier to make it to home plate when you start on third. There's also this big push in recent years from those self-help influencers, people who try to tell you that you can be just like them if you follow their nonsense. They tell you anyone can do it, blah blah blah. and show off their filtered, made for social media lifestyle and claim they did it all by themselves, leaving out any and all advantages they had to get where they are. My favorite of these recently was watching Liver King implode. And Trump was never successful, he was a fraud. Hey, it takes great skill to fail at running a casino, a business whose model is people arrive, give you money, the majority get nothing and leave. And some of these lucky people are massive narcissists too, so they can charm their way around and they can manipulate easily. They will cry when things don't go their way to make people feel bad for them. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.